Welcome to Horrorland.
Hey guys, I'm Justin.
I'm Leigh.
Together we own Horrorland Media, your one-stop shop for all your physical media needs when it comes to conventions. At least we try to be. We try to carry a diverse collection and selection of Blu-rays, DVDs, and VHS even at that. So anyways, today we have got, normally this would be like to keep or not to keep. We've got 30-ish titles to go over. There's actually a few more than 30, but some of these are box sets. So we've been watching a lot. I think it's been like 3 weeks since we've done a video. About a month or so since we've done one of these, so we've actually been watching quite a bit. We've got quite a bit of information to go over today, so we're not going to brand this one to keep or not to keep. It's just going to be a Welcome to Horrorland episode. We're going to go over some convention news along with some movie information towards the end of this. I will say, if we do have any new followers out there, thank you for subscribing to the channel. I know that we gained a couple after our last convention, which was Days of the Dead, Indianapolis. Not one of our better conventions. I think it was just a little bit too close to Christmas, but that's neither here nor there. That's just part of it when you do these shows. And for those of you who did stop by and shop with us, whether you bought or whether you didn't, you just stopped and talked, thank you as always. Like I said, we'll get back into 2026's first few signed and confirmed shows towards the end of this video. So my stack is far bigger than our stack. I've been going through quite a bit of stuff. And so I'll go ahead and start us off here with the first couple. My first one is a DVD. This is Legion of the Dead. This is from 2005 and from the Asylum. I actually saw the trailer for this on the beginning of another movie that we watched. I think it was The Beast of Bray Road. It looked intriguing, and so I bought it. This was pretty boring. Basically, this group of archaeologists, they go into this tomb and they awaken this mummy. The mummy comes back as like a woman who can't speak English, and so she kind of friends these two archaeologists who don't really know who she is. They think she's just like a foreign person or whatever, and basically she winds up taking their souls and everything else. Overall, just not a great film. I didn't love this one. For me, vote to sell. A lot of these DVDs, as I've been going back through them, as I go to put them on the shelf, I've pulled out several, just because I'm not going to rewatch them. I mean, that was not the worst movie I've ever seen, but I'll never rewatch it. So, next up from Vinegar Syndrome is Playroom. This one actually has Chris McDonald. I think it's Chris McDonald. The guy who plays, I think it's the same one who plays Shooter McGavin in Adam Sandler films. He was the main bad guy. Leigh actually didn't watch this one. She came in on the tail end. I've been putting this one off just because I've been watching other stuff instead, and I love this one. This is actually one of my top Vinegar Syndromes for the year. Basically, you have this Chris McDonald's character basically lives in this ancient like castle kind of place, and with his father when he's young, and his father winds up getting killed, and so all these years later he goes back to basically find the hidden playroom that his father couldn't find. And basically what the playroom is this king that had lived there before he was actually a child was into torture, and so he had all these medieval torture devices and stuff, and it was considered his playroom, and he hid it. And so Chris McDonald's character kind of gets like possessed, and he's the only one that can see the ghost of this king, and the king's like, you don't want to leave me alone, I don't want to be by myself. And so it's all about him kind of friending him and playing games with him, which is actually games of torture for the other people that are involved. So overall, really enjoyed this one. Vote to keep. One of my favorite Vinegar Syndromes of the year. My Vinegar Syndrome intake has gone way down. So next up, The Terror Within 2. Have not seen The Terror Within 1. Maybe that's where I went wrong with this. However, with a little bit of Google searching, I found that I didn't actually need to watch part 1 based off what it said. But I can say another snooze fest. Not a whole lot happens in this one. To be 100% honest, I never really even got the gist of it. This does say in the exciting sequel to The Terror Within. Maybe I did need to watch part 1. Maybe Google misled me. I'm not real sure. But just was not a fan of this one. Not much happened. I skipped through it. I got about 20 minutes in and I was just bored to tears. Skipped through it a little bit, and there just wasn't a whole lot happening. Not a whole lot of like monster action or anything like that. Terror Within 2 for me, vote to sell. Next up, me and Lee did try to watch this one together, and she can vouch I actually fell asleep on the couch. This is Graveyard Shark from Mad Angel Films. So I will be honest, this one was not the worst acted film I've ever seen. It was still pretty rough, don't get me wrong. But the premise of it was pretty cool. I thought the Graveyard Shark was kind of a cool, like, cryptid. But just the way that this film was edited, there was a lot of talk and a lot of lead up, and then the creature, while he looked cool, like it was kind of one-dimensional, you could just tell it was like a huge buff bodybuilder in a suit with a shark head. I don't know, the way that they built the character, while I just said there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of building, they didn't build it in the correct way, I didn't feel like. I don't know, there was a lot missing. There was a lot of information given, but there was still a lot of information missing, and just a lot of things that could have been used to tighten this up and do a little better. I don't know, if I can find this one, on TV again at some point before it sells, I may try to give it a rewatch, just because, again, I think the shark is cool. This is definitely up like mine and Carl's alley more than Lee's, but for now, for me, going to be a vote to sell. This isn't one that I ever see myself rewatching again. I think we made it through like 30 minutes. Like I said, I legit fell asleep. We might not have. I legit fell asleep. Next up, The Lost Boys, The Tribe. This is Lost Boys 2. Actually, surprisingly enough, I'd never seen this one. You've got the Frogman himself, Corey Feldman, I believe. Yeah, Corey Feldman. I always get confused on him and Corey Haim just because of the last names. Corey Feldman's back in town. You've got these brother and this sister who move into the surfing town. And basically, their parents have been killed. And so the brother is very protective of his sister, and she winds up falling in with the crew of vampires and the tribe, so to speak. And he basically friends Corey Feldman's character, the Frogman, and he's basically told, like, look, you have to infiltrate them, otherwise your sister will become a vampire. So that's what he does. Overall, not a great film, not the best sequel to the original, but I still had a lot of fun with this one. So for me, this one's going to be a vote to keep. Moving right along here, we do have Ruby. This is one from Vinegar Syndrome. This is from 1977, I do believe it is. It says, christened in blood, raised in sin, she's sweet 16, let the party begin. So this one is extremely slow. This was not a bad film overall, but it was extremely slow. So basically you have a mafia member and he dies, and years later you find out this girl that was kind of his girlfriend now owns a drive-in. There's all kinds of like supernatural stuff that kind of goes on and happens at this drive-in. I don't know, like I said, not a bad film, but definitely slow. And again, when it comes to really looking at it and saying, would I ever rewatch this? I have to unfortunately say no. So Ruby for me, vote to sell. We'll swap these around and go ahead and do this one next. So this is a 3-for-1. This is, what is the name of these exactly? The History of Horror, Eli Roth's AMC series. So these are pretty cool. He has cool guests. He's got Slash. He's got Rob Zombie. He's got Tom Savini. He's got Stephen King, Greg Nicotero, all kinds of people. And basically they come together and they just talk about horror films. And they have like a specific subject. Like one subject may be the history of like zombie films or whatever. Two things with this. While this series is cool, it doesn't really dive into any films like I haven't really ever seen before. Like it dives into Halloween, which has been done to death in Halloween documentaries. It dives into, zombie films, which is like Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, stuff that, again, you've heard about. And not only that, I have trouble enough getting through films. I really do not have time to sit and watch the documentaries on them and everything else. And while these are cool and broken down into like episodes, and I just don't have time for them. I will never watch these ever again, probably. It was a fun series, don't get me wrong, but again, time is of the essence, and I just don't have time for these. So this is seasons 1, 2, and 3 of Eli Roth's History of Horror. Vote to sell. All right, you're up.
All right, so I know what you did last summer. The new one does have Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar in it.
But what's
right?
Sarah Michelle Gellar's the blonde, isn't it? Which it has her too, but what's the...
Oh, yeah. What is her name?
I can see her. Courtney Love Hewitt? No.
No.
Is that not her? Keep talking. I'll find out.
Anyway. It actually, surprisingly, was pretty good. Obviously, a new group of kids, same town, same legend.
Yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, what? Her name's not Courtney. Okay.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
All right. I will say, for the most part, they did a really, really good job. I will say also, I did not love the very ending.
I hated the ending.
So, yeah. But I mean, it's the same premise as the others. So, I mean, it's not really anything new there. Not being reinvented.
No. Legacy sequel for sure. Brings back a lot of the same characters. Basically, the exact same thing happens as in part one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lee said, hate the ending. The ending sucks. You can definitely tell that they are recycling some of these ideas from horror's past, and they are trying to do a cash grab. It is what it is. The rest of the movie, I feel like, was strong enough for me to be a vote to keep.
Okay.
All right. Next up, another documentary series. I hate to do it with this one, but it is In the Search of Darkness. This one actually does deep dive into a lot of things that I have not heard about. The stories are cool. This has a little bit of everybody involved, much like the history of horror. But the 3 documentaries span a course of like 10 hours, I think, total. Again, this is the complete journey into 80s horror. While this is cool, I, yet again, don't really have 10 free hours just to spend listening to a documentary. We're constantly trying to just, it's hard enough to get through an hour and a half movie between everything else that we do, let alone 10 plus hours of documentary footage. While these are really cool, I think they may better serve somebody else's physical media collection instead of mine. Maybe someone who can appreciate them a little bit more and actually watch them. So for me, as much as I hate to do it, In Search of Darkness, vote to sell.
All right, next up is Nobody 2. If you watch Nobody 1, you have to watch Nobody 1 before you watch Nobody 2. I mean, that's just, it's one of those. You got to get it. It actually was pretty stupid, but it was also really funny. So, they did have a lot of original stuff in this one. Mm-hmm. Compared to some other spin-off movies that people do. So I will say overall I definitely thought it was good. It's just an action, campy, I don't know.
Sharon Stone's return as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, it's really good. They go on vacation this time and it's just all chaos ensues and it really is funny.
Yeah, I agree. For me,
Vote keep.
Same. Vote keep. All right, next I'm going to do a couple more because I'm going to do these next few that we've got a little different. But first up here is going to be The Boy. We cheated with this title. I actually did not watch all of this. This was part of the Scream Factory order that I placed. They had the collector's edition of this, which normally is like $32.99. They had it for like $18 during that fire sale, right when they were basically going out of business. I mean, I know you can still buy them on Groove, but let's be honest. Shout Factory, as we knew them, Scream Factory, they are no more. But regardless, picked up The Boy. We liked this film. It definitely has a twist at the end. You most definitely probably don't see coming. I didn't see it coming. And so I did put this in just to kind of skip through and look at the 4K aspect of it. I mean, it looks pretty good. Some films I can tell a big difference from Blu-ray to 4K. This one, ultimately, I really couldn't tell that big of a difference. But I still, we got a couple of extra special features on here. Got a cool slipcover and overall just a better addition than the one that I had. So I'll consider it a win. The Boy, for me, vote to keep.
Okay.
Move right along with the next one here from Kino Cult. This one is The Dark Power. To be 100% honest, I couldn't even tell you what this damn movie is about. I watched it, and to be quite honest, I was doing a couple of other things with some eBay stuff when I got off of work one day, and I turned this on, and I kind of missed out on the first probably like 15 minutes of like really zoning in. And like when I actually did get to zone in, all it was a bunch of girls in like a bathroom scene, like in the tub and in the shower, and this like pervy guy who was like a classmate of theirs because they're like teenage co-eds or whatever at college, and like a guy like kind of spying on them. It's supposed to have something to do with zombies. I don't know. I didn't get it. I don't know. Like I said, I made it through like 20 minutes of it. It's an 82-minute film. Maybe it would have done me better if I had caught that first tail in there. But for me, definitely vote to sell. Nothing redeeming about that whatsoever. And then I will go ahead and do this one, and then we'll swap back over to Leigh's stack, but this is Depraved. So this one I'm kind of in a weird spot with. Depraved was actually pretty fun, but again, it's another extremely slow one. So this is from IFC Midnight, a Scream Factory partner label. And basically it's just the retelling of Frankenstein, only modernized. Instead of lightning and everything else that brings Frankenstein back together, it's a pharmaceutical drug and science. And basically you have Frankenstein having to learn and to talk and walk again and everything else. I love the story of Frankenstein because it's so much more than a doctor bringing a human back to life. When you dive into Frankenstein, really it is who's the monster? Society? Because the way that they treat this person? Or is it Frankenstein who has been pieced back together from pieces of dead people and has been reanimated back to life? Who is the real monster though? I love that aspect of it. But regardless, Depraved, it was a good film. But it does drag in several parts. It really could have used some editing that cut out about 30-ish minutes, probably 20 to 30 minutes of it. And yeah, ultimately, again, space is of the essence. Would I ever rewatch this one again? Probably not, with it dragging in the places that it drags. Unfortunately, vote to sell. The sell stack is all coming from my stack. What the heck?
Okay, I'll let you do that since you're wanting them together.
So these I was just going to do, this is the Indiana Jones collection. So we have parts 1, 2, and 3 here. Part 1, of course, is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Part 2 is the Temple of Doom. And then you have part 3, which is The Last Crusade. Not much needs to be said about the original trilogy. I think they're both classic and iconic, and everybody knows what they are. For me, absolutely no questions asked. Vote to keep on these. What is your favorite out of the original trilogy?
Definitely the first one.
The first one, really? I'm the complete opposite. I like The Last Crusade.
On everything.
Yeah, I like The Last Crusade. I think that the addition of the dad aspect and all that, Sean Connery's character, I thought was really cool. So anyways, I really enjoyed those. So of course, vote to keep the original trilogy. This is where it gets a little bit hairy, and it is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This movie as a whole sucks. It's not anywhere near the caliber of the original Indiana Jones. It's they bring an alien aspect into this. That's basically what they're looking for, is the head of an alien, that if you replace it, it basically raises this colony of aliens that have been buried underground for years. There's just a lot to this movie that I don't like. However, as much as I do not like it,
you're a completionist, so we need to keep it.
As much as I do not like it, we're going to put it to the side for just 1 second, because the 5th installment of the Indiana Jones trilogy is Dial of Destiny. And the beginning of this movie looks like a damn video game. It looks insane. But, I mean, it had to, with their Harrison Ford's age and the things that they needed to do. The bad thing about this one is it puts in a story arc with a son and a wife. And if that story arc had not been carried over to this one, we could have got rid of this one. However, it is carried over, and in order to get the complete story, you're going to have to keep this one. And I mean, ultimately though, I thought Dial of Destiny was a phenomenal film. I thought it got back to the root. I shouldn't say phenomenal. It was a good movie. It got back to the roots of Indiana Jones, and I really enjoyed this one. But again, because of that story arc of the kid and the wife, Now it basically forces you to keep this one. So unfortunately, keep Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then we will keep Dial of Destiny as well. It's got to be done. If you get rid of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you miss the entire Sunlight.
Get rid of it.
I was just saying.
You're going to keep it because you're a completionist.
I mean, on that, in all honesty, because they don't lead off each other anymore, I probably would have gotten rid of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull if the wife and son aspect hadn't have been so prevalent in the storytelling of Dial of Destiny.
Okay.
All right, so because I just did those, go ahead.
Okay.
Knock us out.
Next up is Naked Gun with Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. If you have not watched the original Naked Gun movies from, were they the 80s or 90s?
I don't know.
I think they started in the 80s.
I think they did too, but there's 3 of them, so I'm not sure.
They are hilarious. And I have to say, I was really wondering if this would be so corny that it was not even funny, but they definitely succeeded on making this a really great comedy. And
the original trilogy is 88, 91, and 94.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's phenomenal if you just want something funny and dumb to watch that you don't put a lot of thought into. I mean, I really can't say enough about Liam Neeson in this one. I mean, normally you see him in the action movies, obviously real action movies. This one is just, I don't know, we laughed pretty much the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like this one because basically it pokes fun at everything. Liam Neeson pokes fun at himself for everything he's ever done, in a sense. Like, he doesn't come right out and like make jokes about himself, but the way that the action is filmed is basically a parody of everything he's ever done. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright guys, so we are having some technical difficulties with the camera, go figure. I don't know exactly where it cut us off, but yeah, definitely a funny movie. Definitely one I personally vote to keep.
I agree.
Moving right along here. Next up for me is another Kino cult. This is I, Madman. I had seen this once before on the Scream Factory Blu-ray. Didn't remember much about it aside from that I didn't really care for it that much. Eric was actually talking about, I believe it was Eric, was talking about this one when it got announced for a re-release. So I was like, let me pick it up. It was cheap enough on a sale. And I don't know why I didn't like this one the first go around. I actually really enjoyed this. Basically what it is, and I don't know how he comes to be, but basically this woman who just loves books winds up reading this book, and it's about this man who falls in love with this woman, only the love is not reciprocated. To her, she feels that he is the ugliest person on earth, and so basically he cuts off everything. He cuts off his lips, he cuts off his ears, he cuts off his hair, and then he goes around and he kills people, and he takes their facial features basically to reconstruct himself into something that she may love. And as she's reading this book, it becomes reality. And he basically is stalking the streets and killing her friends and basically taking their facial features because she basically takes on the role of the woman in the book, the main character who he is in love with. Overall, really enjoyed this one. She winds up trying to help the police and kind of find the killer because she's reading this book, only they don't believe her because they're like, you're crazy. You're thinking that all this is coming from a book that you're reading. But overall, really enjoy this one. Vote to keep. Go ahead.
You want to do these as a pair?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So this is The Accountant and The Accountant 2. We had seen The Accountant years ago. Had to rewatch it before we watched the second one because we didn't remember anything about it. So basically, Ben Affleck has a form of Asperger's, and anything that he starts, he has to complete. So his parents take him to like this therapist when he's younger. He has a younger brother that is, doesn't have the same condition, and they ask the therapist if he will ever be able to lead a normal life. Well, this therapist wants to leave him to be left there with him for like a summer. They teach children with certain conditions how to adapt and how to live. His parents absolutely refused. His dad was in the military, and obviously they moved around a lot. And his idea of teaching him how to cope was to train him in, I think it was martial arts, I guess is what you would call it. So long story short, that's how he learns to cope and deal with things. And he is very intelligent, obviously. And so he becomes an accountant, but not just your typical accountant. He works with very dangerous people and can basically find any glitch in any of their accounting that they need to be found, and is excellent at like finding tax write-off stuff. So when they get to be adults, their mother passes away, the brothers had become estranged, the father of course passes away, and then they, I don't know, find their way back to each other, I guess would be a good synopsis for the first one. So
yeah,
you can add to, but
yeah, and I mean basically part 2 picks up right from there. I won't get too far into part 2 because literally it's basically brand new.
Yeah.
Part 2 definitely has more of a comedic aspect to it, though. They definitely bring in that comedy to break up more of the action. But yeah, I'm not the biggest Ben Affleck fan. I mean, I like some of his stuff, but I'm not like, ooh, it's got Ben Affleck, I've got to see it. But I actually really enjoyed both of these. They're both like over 2 hours long, which normally we're kind of like checking the time, like how much longer does this have?
they really have so much in them though that
They don't. Yeah, these we didn't have to. They were very good. So yeah, I mean overall both of them definitely a vote to keep. Definitely a good action series, and the way that it kind of ends, it doesn't set up a part 3 by any means. But there's, in this world of which they built for Ben Affleck, there definitely could be a part 3.
Definitely could be. And I will say, like, it's crazy because with all the bad he does, there is a good side to him.
Yeah, for
so it makes it all that much more interesting.
Yeah.
So
definitely vote to keep those. Next up is another one that we kind of cheated on, and that is Violent Night. We actually did not go back through and rewatch this. I actually think it was earlier this year that we watched this. I don't think we watched it. I don't think we quite got it in before Christmas last year. This was another one, though. I wasn't really in the mood to like completely rewatch it. Again, we've got so much stuff to watch that I didn't really have the time, so I decided, what the heck, we just put it in, check out the 4K transfer. Again, another one. I could tell little upticks here or there in the film from the Blu-ray, but again, without diving into it and watching the entire thing, didn't really tell a huge difference, but still one that I'm glad to have on the absolute best format that we can. Plus, it has the Blu-ray, so you know, definitely just adding to the collection, the 4K collection there, and we'll get rid of the Blu-ray. So, Violent Night, definitely vote to keep. And then, because the stack is just one film off, I will go again real quick with Dead Space. This is another one. I tried to watch this at work, and I got through about 15 minutes, and I was bored to absolute tears. Basically, like, the opening scene is really cool. It's these scientists, and basically there's this like alien creature or whatever, and he opens the cage of which it's in, or the it's not really a cage, it's more like the container that it's in, and he winds up burning to death. And so that was kind of a cool sequence there to open the film. But then it's like right after that, you've got like an android that's driving the plane through space, or the spaceship I should say, through space. And then out of nowhere, you have these other spaceships that come basically out of thin air and are shooting. I don't know, it's just really weird. It drops you in a weird place. And again, in 15 minutes, I was pretty much over it and bored. So Dead Space for me, vote to sell.
all right, next up we have Crocodile. I don't know. It's definitely a group of kids get together for a long weekend or a week or something on somebody's. It's a small houseboat, but it's a houseboat on a lake. It's definitely. I don't know how to. It's your typical like kids get on a houseboat. They're drinking. They're partying. They dock. They build a fire. they start hearing weird noises, and lo and behold, people start going missing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing really, I mean, it was somewhat entertaining. They did throw some,
Drama.
yeah, some drama and storyline to it, but it definitely was your typical.
Yeah, didn't change the genre any. Wasn't a genre bending film. Was really excited when I put this one in though. The first few scenes with the crocodile are phenomenal. Like the way that the crocodile looks, and then they decided if they had kept it like that, this one would have scored really high on like a scorecard. But the fact of the matter is, they took the crocodile out of the water and CGI'd him. And in 2000, I think, from when this movie is from, CGI absolutely sucked, and so that drug this movie down a lot. Was the CGI'd crocodile. But overall, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was a fun movie for what it is. Again, this is a film that will probably never see the light of day on a Blu-ray. So for me, it's going to be a vote to keep. Next up is a John Carpenter film I had never seen, in a beautiful Arrow edition here. This is In the Mouth of Madness. Basically, you have this author who goes missing, and so you have this guy who goes looking for him. He's been hired, and while he's looking for him, he has to basically read the books. He's like, oh, is that horror author that everyone, they're like, yeah. And so he winds up reading the author, and his name is Sutter Kane. And when he winds up reading his stuff, very much kind of like I'm Madman in a sense, the lines between reality and the worlds that Sutter Kane has made in his books become very much blurred. And so he winds up finding himself in like a fictitious town that is from Sutter Kane's books. He winds up finding himself surrounded by characters from Sutter Kane's books. And very much like his reality is now the book. He has a very hard time believing that like where he's at is fictitious and just the whole 9 yards. And it's almost like a Groundhog's Day. Every time he tries to get back out, he's teleported right back into the center of town. Overall, I'd never seen this one. I don't know how I'd never seen this one, because this was actually a super fun film. I enjoyed the hell out of it. In the Mouth of Madness, 100% vote to keep.
That's the one I came in on the end of.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up is the Arrow version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trilogy. So, we didn't watch 3, did we? Yeah. We just watched 1 and 2.
3 doesn't need to exist.
We actually introduced Ava to these, and she thought they were hilarious. So, I remember watching these when I was growing up, and they were pretty good. They still are.
This is one franchise that I've owned on every format I personally have ever owned. I had the VHSs, then I moved into the DVDs, then I had the Blu-rays, and now I have the Arrow 4Ks. So this is one that anytime it gets a release, I will always upgrade it. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially 1 and 2. 2 is my absolute favorite. I love the Go Ninja Go dance scene. I always have. And I really like, even though they changed their names, it's Bebop and Rocksteady from the cartoon. You know that's who they made. They just changed their names for the movie purpose. But I love Part 1 and 2. Part 3 is a film that doesn't need to exist. Basically, the Turtles in Time is terrible. I hate Part 3. And I absolutely hate it. So we won't even talk about that. But Part 1 and 2 are phenomenal. The transfers on these look great. 100%, without question, vote to keep. Alright, and then lastly here is one that I waited so long for and was so damn disappointed when it came in. That is the Bravado Giallo box set from Cauldron. This has Graveyard Disturbance, Until Death, Dinner with a Vampire, and The Ogre. So these movies are just boring, ultimately. Lee actually watched a couple of these with me. So we watched Graveyard Disturbance together. It is by far, in my opinion, the best film out of this lot. These kids basically go into this town, and they wind up going into this bar, and there's this whole thing, and it's like, hey, if you can spend a night in the catacombs below. But like nothing really happens. Like there's a bunch of jump scares of like fog and spiders and, you know, stuff like creeping up on them down there, but like no one dies, no one. And that's the way with all these. These are made for TV, and they're just boring. Dinner with a Vampire, we didn't even make it all the way through. It was so, I mean, that's the thing with all 4 of these, unfortunately. As much as I hate to say it, I mean, this is now officially out of print. It's going for like 120 plus. So there's no time like the present to capitalize on some money. So this one for me is going to be a vote to sell. We will have this one at a convention very, very soon. Maybe even the first convention of the year, if not number 1 for sure, number 2. So we'll go back over real quick everything we're going to sell. We'll get these announcements and updates out to you guys. We'll go ahead and end this episode. So first up here on the sales, we have Dead Space, we have Depraved, we have The Dark Power, In Search of Darkness, the Eli Roth's History of Horror, Seasons 1, 2, and 3, the Vinegar Syndrome version of Ruby, Graveyard Shark, The Terror Within 2, Legion of the Dead, and then of course the Bravado Giallo box set. So that's all sales. So again, you can find those at a convention very, very soon. We will be getting these priced, processed, and in a tote to take with us. That being said, let's talk about conventions for a minute. If you guys haven't seen, I did post a post on both Facebook and Instagram. If you're not following us on either one of those platforms, what are you doing? Click that link down below and go follow us. Those are always linked on every single video that we do. But signed, sealed, and delivered are the contracts for our first 4 shows. We start off here in just a little less than a month with Las Vegas. That's right, we're flying to Vegas and going to take a little bit of a mini vacation there for ourselves, but also going to go to Vegas. We're bringing Mothershucker, Twisted Gables, going to bring Mothershucker to the casinos. Maybe we'll win some money with that. But definitely bringing those. I don't know how much extra room we're going to have to bring other media. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of space, but this is just an 8X Productions trip. I feel like we've kind of done all the shows here around our general area. It's time to start branching out a little bit. We don't have a lot of empty dates where we can do that this year, but we did have a hole there at the beginning of the year to fly out to Vegas. We are absolutely stoked and honored, honestly, privileged, I guess we should say, to be able to do that, and privileged that Days of the Dead was able to have an extra opening in booths to accommodate us. So we are looking forward to that. We get back onto our normal schedule, though, when we get home from that, as the February, I don't have dates in front of me, we're not going to mess with those, but it's the next to last weekend in February is Days of the Dead Atlanta. This will be our 4th show there, I do believe, so one of our best shows of all year. It's a phenomenal show, so we will be at that. We turn around the very next weekend, which is February the 28th and March the 1st, and we go to Evansville, Indiana for the Evansville Horror Con. So great to be returning there. Next, we will be returning yet again to my favorite convention all year long, and that is the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Convention in Nashville. That is hands down my favorite convention all year round. Just something about it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just love that convention. So, super excited to be there. I believe that's April 3rd, 4th, and 5th, if I'm not mistaken. It's Easter weekend. It's always Easter weekend. So, there is that. As I just said, though, Las Vegas, we will be bringing our 3 films, Mothershucker, Mothershucker 2, and Twisted Gables. But if you guys will remember, we've been talking about a 4th. It is our wrestling film, which is Descent to Chaos. That one is not quite finished. It will be finished, however, come hell or high water, I will make it work. It will be finished and out and available to purchase on Blu-ray starting at Days of the Dead in Atlanta. So, when we come to Atlanta this year, we're going to have 2 brand new films that we didn't have last year. We're going to have Mothershucker 2 and Descent to Chaos. We have signed up for some artwork with a kick-ass artist who is near and dear to this project. Again, I'm not going to announce that just yet until we have artwork in hand, just in case something should happen to go awry or something happens with that. But I will say I'm stoked, and the most part, the entire cast is stoked about who's doing the artwork. So yeah, there's that. Can't wait to announce that. We will probably do a cast video. A lot of these guys, again, it's a wrestling film, so you do have like Dan Bailey, who returns with us from Mothershucker and Twisted Gables. We do have Devin Graves and Lex Bain. We do have them, but we've also got some other wrestlers who don't have huge acting parts necessarily, but we do want to give them their due, so we will be doing a video to go over that as well. Again, though, we've still got Christmas coming up, we've got New Year's, and we don't have it finished yet. I would like to actually maybe have it finished and at least at Kunaki to get pressed before we start going over all that. But big updates are coming. Like I said, if you don't follow us on Facebook or Instagram, go follow us there. I posted a little bit of a teaser earlier this week showing off some of that Descent to Chaos. And also, like I said, I posted earlier this week as well the convention schedule thus far. We do still have 4 conventions to be signed. 3 conventions to be signed. I can't count. 3. Yeah. So we are waiting on Flashback Weekend. Of course, we're waiting on Scarefest. And then we do actually have another brand new summer convention coming. We'll leave that one until it gets a little bit closer to time. We really want to focus on these first 4 right here. Again, Days of the Dead Las Vegas, Days of the Dead Atlanta, Evansville HorrorCon, and the Full Moon Nashville Tattoo and Horror Convention. So come out, check us out at one of those. Come grab you some movies. Make sure that you show 8X Production and our movies some love as well. I did our, but there is also Carl and Eric, but they're not here. What has happened to Carl and Eric? I don't know. They haven't been available to film, but hopefully after the first of the year, things will kind of mellow out a little bit and we'll be able to get them back. I would love to open up the year with our favorite releases of 2025. We did that last year and I think it went over really, really well. So would love to open up the year with that. Hopefully we can get them down very, very soon and get that. Whenever we start back up, I would like to maybe go back to the once a week and maybe every other week format. Just because, again, the YouTube's not going to gain any traction or anything unless we post constantly. So hopefully we can get back on track doing that. The break has been nice, but it's time to get back to work. Barcode, again, has given us some ideas, so we want to do those. And we have some other fresh and new ideas all on our own. So, is there anything else to add? Anything that I've missed?
I don't think so.
Okay. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here for the week. We'll see you guys when we see you. I'm not exactly sure when that will be. Until we see you, though, we hope that everyone out there has a very merry and safe Christmas. Spend it with friends and family, and a very happy and safe New Year's as well. We will see you guys probably back in 2026. We can't wait for it. Come see us at some conventions. 2026 is going to be a big year for Horrorland Media. We can't wait to get it underway. We'll check you guys next time. We appreciate it.